Do north-facing LEDs have you feeling down? We'll put those cherry profile keycaps away and take a seat. I'm Hipyo Tech, and today we're going to be modding the Idobao Id67. Okay, I see what you're going to be writing. You're going to be writing how north-facing boards are stupid and no one should ever buy one. And the Idobao Id67 will be south-facing, but I was stuck with the north-facing prototype. So today I'm going to show you how to make the most of your board if you have north-facing LEDs. This is also going to be a spicy little mod video, and we're going to be lubing up those Durock L4s and getting rid of these cherry profile keycaps for some MA profile ones. Now, if you're watching the video and you're like, what the heck is north-facing LEDs, what the heck is south-facing LEDs, I recommend checking out Wildcat's video on it. It's really good and really comprehensive. To put it simply, if a board has north-facing LEDs, then one of the middle rows will have some interference with cherry profile keycaps. This interference means that the keycap will hit the switch and create a bit of a different sound and a bit of a different feel in that row. In this case, I'm using the Idobao Id67 prototype, which probably has north-facing LEDs, so it works better with shine-through keycaps. This is a bit more of a gamery feature, and most enthusiasts don't tend to care about it. Also, if you watch my review video of this board, you'll know that I used Durock L4s, or their pink linears. These were stock and unmodded, and today we're going to take them apart, spring swap them for 62 gram springs, and lube them up. So as you saw in the previous clips, I was taking apart the board, that way I could fully lube all of the switches. After that, I took apart all the switches, that way I could get them all lubed up. This took roughly 15 minutes or so, and it's probably the easiest part of the whole process. Now these Durock L4s are a pretty spicy switch, and I actually like them quite a bit stock. However, the 65 gram springs were a little bit too spicy for me, so I'm going to be taking those out and swapping those with the 62 gram spring. And also, since I'm here, I'm going to be lubing them up. In this case, I decided to try out the Carbon GS2 grease from Kinetic Labs. They happen to be one of my sponsors, and you can check them out in the description if you want to support me and get some of this lube for yourself. Now, because this lube doesn't come repackaged like from some manufacturers, they give you a nice little lube palette, and what I like to do is I just spread it out in a line, and then I use those lines to get some lube from. This lube was overall really interesting to me because it was really thick, but then spread really easily and got quite liquidy. I think I'm going to have to use it a little bit more before I can give a final review on it, but I'd say overall it left the switches feeling quite smooth, and I don't think it would be too easy to over lube with it. Anyways, we got the 62 gram springs, and we decided to go for the bag lubing method because I'm a very lazy hippo. Now, I use the same bag for most of my bag lubing, which is extra lazy, but really what you do is you put 5 to 10 drops of super lube oil in a bag, shake the springs around, massage them for about 30 seconds afterwards, and then you're good to go. My lubing technique is a little bit haphazard and not very unique at all. Basically, I get a light layer of lube on the brush, and then I go 3 strokes on each slider, then I hit it around the world, and then we go in the hole. Listen, this is not lewd at all, this is just lubing some switches. One bummer with bag lubing springs is you have to detangle them, but I like to just twist the springs in opposite directions, and that tends to work pretty well. Then you just plop a spring in, and we get our stem loaded up on our stem holder. Stem holders definitely aren't required, but I have pretty fat, non-dexterous fingers, so I like to use them. For lubing the stem, I like to hit all of the high contact points, and then I also like to hit the legs with quite a bit, as I tend to like the feel of a more lubed linear. If you've never lubed a switch before, I recommend trying a couple with varying degrees of lube to see what you like the feel for most before you go all out and lube the whole batch. I also recommend checking out some other lubing tutorials from people like taehatypes, as he just put one out and I think it's pretty good. He really covers a lot more than I do here, and this is just a showing you one switch for fun type of thing. After that was done, we are ready to cast our magic spell to put all the switches on this board. If you don't have access to magic spells, I recommend just putting them on one by one without bending any pins. After the switches come the keycaps. Now, because this has north-facing LEDs, we're going to avoid the interference problem by not using cherry profile keycaps. In this case, we're using MA profile keycaps, but you could use OEM, CAT, SA, or, anything really. These specifically are the blue cat keycaps that I got from Idobao for free. You can get them on the Idobao website, where you'll also be able to find the Id67 sometime around April. These are dye sub PBT keycaps, and are relatively cheap at around $45. I think for the price, they're quite nice, especially if you're looking for something that's just not cherry profile. I will say I really didn't like the sound of the spacebar, and you'll hear that in the sound test. Anyways, my magic spell bugged here, so I guess the keycaps just kind of appeared. And I think overall these look really nice, and they sit really well on this board. So the board looks pretty cool now, but how does it sound? So first, I'm going to hit you with the before sound test, and then after, you're going to get the after. Well, that was kind of silly. So overall, I think this board cleans up pretty well. I mean, definitely better than BP after their last oil spill. I think the Duroc L4s sound and feel pretty great, and these MA keycaps really made a huge difference, especially in row 2, where you're seeing a lot of that interference. I think overall, people definitely shouldn't write off a board for being north-facing, as there's a lot of great keycap options out there, and cherry profile keycaps aren't the only keycaps. Now, does this mean you're wrong if you don't want a board with north-facing LEDs? Nope, not at all. You keep enjoying your life. But I just wanted to point out another point of view. Anyways, if you guys like this video, remember to give it a like, hit subscribe, and do a typing test of your own in the comments to let me know what you think of this board. I'm gonna leave you guys with a sound test, and my only request is you please watch the whole thing to support my YouTube algorithm overlords. If you thought that video was helpful, please consider hitting that join button down below. If you hit the join button, you'll get access to exclusive perks like cool emotes, and a members only section of my Discord server. Also, a special thanks to Aquarius, who joined the Hipyo's Chosen tier of channel membership. Thanks again, Aquarius.